and I would like to welcome to the stage Remi Meydanier, who's a research leader at AXA's climate analytics team, and will give us a complementary view always from the insurance sector, but now from the regional and local to the global scale. Remi, please.
Okay, thank you, Gabriele, and thank you very much for the invitation. Sorry. Okay. My name is Remi Meydanier, and I work at AXA headquarters in Paris as a climate risk modeler. This presentation is to give you a broad overview of all the activities we are leading at AXA to understand natural risk and to try to monitor those risks. So usually when we think about natural risk, that can be split in two different risks, climate and geophysical risk. We have the view of the, costless risk, like for instance, hurricane in the US, Hurricane Andrew in 1992, Hurricane Katrina in 2005, but also earthquake in Japan and in Europe, winter storm, such as the one we experienced in 1999, Lothar and Martin. But since quite recent years, we are experimenting new kind of risks that are emerging as also very costly risk. And those risks are usually called by the insurance market as secondary perils, but we do believe this terminology should be changed a little bit. And namely, we have seen more floods, notably in Europe. We can think of July 2021 in Germany and Belgium, but also in north of France last year. Severe convective storm, meaning hailstorm, notably in June 2022 in France, last year in Italy, with some hailstone records never observed before. And also wildfire in 2018 in the US, and also last year in Europe. And obviously drought peril is becoming a major issue in France. AXA is a global insurer, so we are exposed to all of those kind of risks. And obviously the risks that are on the bottom are closely linked to temperature evolution. And you can think that with global warming, it's going to become a problem. As an insurer, we need to basically understand those risks and to manage those risks for different reasons. First of all, some regulatory solvency reason, financial stability, and also obviously efficiency in the business. So that's very important. Many activities within an insurance industry are impacted by extreme weather event, namely underwriting, decision process, pricing techniques, claims management, portfolio management, that's very local scale, close to the customer, but also at a macro scale, capital modeling, capital management, reinsurance strategy, and also asset management. So since 2014, we have been developing internally models to assess those risks at AXA. And basically, we think those models are very useful for different reasons, notably to mitigate the risk. So thinking of reinsurance, what is the right amount of reinsurance to purchase, but also how to better optimize risk diversification, avoiding risk accumulation. Also, those models are very useful to monitor climate risk. For instance, we are monitoring live events when there is something going on. This is very helpful to anticipate potential damages and also to help on the field people from our company to help our customers to better react, face to those extreme events. And obviously to adapt, climate is changing and so our climate risk. So the landscape is a bit different. We have more frequent, more severe events. And we are using those models to assess how those risks could change in the future for different warming scenarios. And we are also, in that sense, testing some prevention measures, such as implementing flood protection in our model to see how we can mitigate the risk in that way. Just for you, Gabriele, the right graphic on the top show the hail frequency in northern Italy increasing with time. So what is a natural catastrophe model? Sounds a bit complex like that, but basically you can split it between different modules. There is exposure models, there is hazard model, and there is financial models. So I didn't speak about that, but everything we do in our department is to assess the risk for property and casualty. So we are calculating financial impact and losses. So everything starts by knowing exactly where are the location, where is the site that you're insured, what is the latitude, longitude, what are the building characteristics, is it a 1, 2 floors building, is there a basement, what is the roof type, what is the value of the building, what is the cost of reconstruction of the building, and so on. So this is the exposure model. Then there is the hazard model, where our team is spending a lot of time to develop these models. So the hazard module aims at creating a catalog of possible, physically possible climate events that could cause damages. And we are simulating thousands of them to make sure we can capture the very rare events. And then we cross exposure data with climate event we are simulating. And when you find a building that is, for instance, in a flooded area, we look at the water depth value and we apply some destruction rate to estimate the losses based on the value of the building. So that's the vulnerability and financial model. So we do that for many simulations of climate event. And at the end, we arrive with those kind of table you can see on the bottom right, which is per year, we have event ID with losses that we can calculate. And at the end, we have a losses distribution at portfolio level with the probability of occurrence of such possible losses. I might say that the event we are simulating are synthetic events based on historical data, meaning, as you just mentioned, we are not just relying on historical data because then you don't know what can happen tomorrow. I think I said it, but I said it again. AXA is a global insurance company, so we have exposure almost everywhere. So we are developing models where AXA is doing insurance business. Most of the exposure is in Europe and the US. So that's where we have been developing, for instance, Europe flood model, Europe winter storm model, Europe severe convective storm model, Europe earthquake model. And in the US, we have been developing North America hurricane model. We are a team, a multidisciplinary team composed of PhD people with different background in hydrology, atmospheric science, earthquake, but also data scientists and actuaries. And our DNA is truly to be R&D driven, to be as much as transparent as we can. We go to conference to show how we build our model. We try to publish some of the work we are doing. And because one of the initiatives was to move out of the black box model that some kind of provider can sell us and that we are using. We are not just using internal model, we're also using models developed by other companies. And we do that not just at AXA, between us, we are also strongly relying on partnerships. So with a private and public institution, I listed some of them there. That is a great help for us to get the best data and best model possible to better capture those risks and to better understand them. And also we are strongly relying on the AXA Research Fund, that is I say a tool, always in the room, but you will not like it, but that is something that is really helping us to connect with university to develop projects that can improve the way we are assessing climate risk. This is the last slide to showcase a model we have been developing with two partners, one based in Bristol, It's a private company called Fathom, and a Dutch institute in Delft called Deltares. So we have been working with them 15 months in collaboration to produce those kind of events. So this is the event we are simulating. It's not a real flood event, but it's a simulation of a flood event for the Danube River. And basically, we collaborate with them to use complex hydraulic model to make sure we can capture all the complexity of a flood event at high resolution, using best available terrain data, flood defenses, to then calculate what kind of losses we can expect. And this is it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Remi.